Hey guys, Tegan here, back at it with episode 6 of Learn to Kite. Today we're going to be going through power control and how to become more comfortable handling the kite and handling the power of the kite. As I mentioned in the previous episode, we aren't going to be doing how to launch the kite yet. We need to learn how to fly the kite before just launching the kite. So again, this episode, a lot of beach footage, so let's hop into my computer and dive straight in. So diving straight into it, following on from the previous episode of Learn to Kite where we learned the theory of how to actually fly the kite in the wind, the next step here, which is what we'll be discussing in this episode, is how to get more confident and get more comfortable handling and understanding the power of the kite in the wind based on your different commands through the bar. So there are really two main aspects here. The first is getting used to the power from the kite when steering the kite, for example, more aggressively or less aggressively, sheeting in the bar, sheeting out the bar, how that changes the steering response from the kite as well as the power input or output from the kite itself. So that's the first aspect, understanding how that all ties in together and getting more comfortable across all of that. And then the second aspect is understanding the stalling of the kite. So firstly, the back stall and how to practice and understand the back stall. And then secondly, the front stall, which I'll run through in just a second. So starting off with the power control of the kite. As I mentioned in the previous episode, the power of the kite is influenced by two main factors. So how fast you steer the kite in the wind window, and then secondly, how much you sheet in or sheet out the bar. So the first exercise to practice here is understanding that relationship of power. So what I'd recommend doing is starting with steering the kite slowly back and forward through the wind window, and then slowly starting to steer the kite back and forward while, sheeting in and out to see how that influences the power of the kite. Then from there, one key exercise that you can practice on the beach to get yourself comfortable with the power of the kite is a very small quote unquote beach start, where as you can see in this example, I first sit down on the beach. Then from here, I turn the kite back towards the left side of the wind window and move the kite across 12 o'clock and then slowly or gently sheet in the bar, and this will pull me off the sand and up onto my feet without me having to stand up myself. And this is a very good exercise to fully understand how the relationship between kite movement and bar power influences the power from the kite, and it's a good way to kind of get comfortable with the kite pulling you up from the sand onto your feet. So I'd recommend doing this 50, 100, maybe even 200 times to slowly build your confidence in terms of kite control, and this is a very good way to fully understand the power of the kite before going into the water. Now the next thing to understand in this whole process is, again, as I mentioned earlier, is back stalling and front stalling. So we're going to first go through back stalling. Now, this is very common with beginners because they have a tendency to keep that bar sheeted all the way in. Now, the key area to mention here is how to recover from a backstall. The only way to recover from a backstall is to sheet the bar out. By sheeting the bar out, this reduces the angle of attack of the kite and it allows the kite to hook in the wind window. Once the kite is hooked in the wind window, you'll feel it give you a bit of a boost of power as that kite shoots back up in the wind window back up to 12 o'clock. Then in terms of understanding or practicing the back stall, what you can do is pull the bar in all the way and practice back stalling the kite. So you'll see the kite drop backwards into the wind window as that kite begins to stall. So start with a very small back stall, sheet the bar out, the kite will then hook into the wind window and shoot back up to 12 o'clock. One thing to note here is just be ready for the bit of a power burst that you'll feel as that kite shoots back up to 12 o'clock. By practicing the backstall, it just gets you used to in scenarios like this. Instead of continuing to pull the bar in, you sheet the bar out to allow the kite to recover back into the wind window. Then the second concept to explain here, which I haven't demonstrated on the beach because this is a little bit dangerous to demonstrate on the beach and you can't really practice this, is the front stall. So how a front stall works is if the kite flies over your head or behind your head, that causes the kite to lose line tension completely completely, and the kite will therefore fall out of the sky pretty much above your head. I've got an example here of a front stall, and as you can see, my lines go slack completely until the kite catches in the wind again. You shouldn't really encounter the front stall when flying the kite gently on the beach, but just more for reference, if your kite begins to stall or front stall very badly and it's falling out of the sky back into the wind window and you can't get control of the kite, the best thing to do here is just to pull your safety and avoid the kite dragging you down the beach when it hooks aggressively back into the wind window. So that was it for how to handle the power of the kite and get more comfortable handling the kite in general. Again, if you have any questions there, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you like that, like, subscribe, and get keen for the next episode where we learn how to launch. See you then. Bye for now.